What's going on, guys? This is Benny Ricciardi with FTN Bets, bringing you our first look at the betting lines for week 4 of NFL action. We're going to start with the Thursday night game this week between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Jags are 0-3 against the spread, 1-2 to the over, coming off a loss 31-19 to the Arizona Cardinals. Cincinnati Bengals 2-1 against the spread, 1-2 to the over on the season, coming off a win 24-10 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. When I run my numbers on this game, I get Cincinnati should be favored by about 5.5 points. I feel like the 7.5 is just a little bit too high here, so I'm kind of bearish on this number. I'm probably going to stay away from it talking about a straight up bet here. I don't like giving up the hook here with the Bengals, but I will say this. I do think that this is a very good teaser piece. You could start the week off kind of like we did last week with Carolina by teasing the Bengals down to 1.5. You get them through the 7, you get them through the 3. They're a home team that you could tease through those 2 key numbers. So that's always something that I'm looking to do. It's one of the most profitable teaser legs you could have when you can get a home team and get them through the 3 and the 7. So while I'm not betting on this game straight up, I do think it's a good teaser piece to start the week off with. And if you hit that teaser on Thursday night, then you can go into the weekend, whatever your second teaser piece is. Got to be feeling pretty good about yourself there. I do think the Bengals win this game. I like it if we can tease it down to 1.5. But once again, at the 7.5 number, I think it's probably too many points. So I'm kind of bearish on this one. The next game we can talk about, the Detroit Lions taking on the Chicago Bears. Detroit 2-1 against the spread, 2-1 to the over, coming off a 19-17 loss in their last game. Chicago 1-2, and that was against Baltimore on the the late field goal there by Justin Tucker from like 66 yards away to set an NFL record. Chicago Bears 1-2 against the spread, 1-2 to the over, coming off an absolute bludgeoning 26-6 against the Cleveland Browns. When I run my numbers on this game, this is a tough one for me to nail down. And it's a tough one for the books too. As you can see, DraftKings doesn't even have a money line up on this game yet. We got to figure that Justin Fields is going to be in there, but Justin Fields' numbers have him as literally the worst quarterback in the NFL right now after, his last start. He was basically getting sacked every time you turned around at that point. They did not move the ball very well. They did not throw the ball at all, really. He wasn't running like a lot of people thought he was. It was not a good game for him last week in that one. I'm looking at my number at 2.5, which is obviously a little bit lower than what the books are offering there. So there may be a little bit of value on the Lions side of this game. And my number may even be a little bit too high, right? Like I'm trying to figure how much worse the Chicago Bears are. And I said that exactly the way I just said it, how much worse the Chicago Bears are with Justin Fields as their quarterback versus Andy Dalton. And I know that's not a very popular opinion, but again, we can only go off of the data that we have. And so far, the data that we have for Justin Fields under center is not very good right now. So like I said, I'm a little bit below the 3 here, and I may even be a little bit high on my number. So if I was going to make a bet here, I'd probably go over to BetMGM, take the 3.5, get the hook on my side there. That's probably the way to go in this game. It's not something that I'm in love with, but if I was going to bet, I do think that's the side that the value's on. The next game we're going to talk about here is the Houston Texans taking on the Buffalo Bills. The Texans 2-1 against the spread, 2-1 to the over, coming off a loss on Thursday Night Football to Carolina, 24-9. Buffalo 2-1 against the spread, 1-2 to the over, coming off a 43-21 win against the Washington Redskins. You got to factor in a little bit of an extra rest for Houston here. Even after factoring that in, the number that I get on this game is about 12.5 for Buffalo. So I am a little bit low. And honestly, my number probably is a little bit low from what it should be. So I don't think that there's value on the Houston side just because it's 17. I mean, listen, how do you bet a spread that's 17? I mean, Buffalo is, infinitely better than the Houston Texans are. I have the Texans as a bottom 3 to 5 team in my power rankings. I have the Buffalo Bills as a top 3 to 5 team in my power rankings, as do a lot of other people out there. 17 is a massive number, even for a home team. Like, even if you factor in home field advantage, you're still saying on a neutral field that the Bills are like more than 2 touchdowns better than the Texans, which maybe they are, but it's just too big a number to bet on here. So I'm going to be avoiding this game. Next game, we can talk about the Carolina Panthers taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Carolina 3-0 against the spread, 0-3 to the over. Won their last game 24-9 against Houston, as we just talked about. The big problem in that game is they did win that battle, but they may have lost the war longer term, as Christian McCaffrey was lost for at least the next couple weeks in that game. So they're going to be playing without their best offensive weapon. The Cowboys 2-0 against the spread, 1-1 to the over. They play tonight, Monday Night Football. I'm doing this video very early Monday morning. They're playing tonight, Monday Night Football, against the Philadelphia Eagles to end week 3. So let's see. When I run my numbers on this game, I get Dallas should be favored by about 2.5. But I want to just kind of caution people that Monday Night Football may wind up changing that. We haven't seen Dallas play their week 3 game. We don't know if they're going to have any major injuries. We don't know how they're going to come off that. They obviously have one less day of rest, which factored into my number as well. Probably why my number is a little bit lower than what the books are offering out here. So if my number being 2.5, I mean, normally if my number is 2.5 and we can get a +4 on the other side, there is some value there to be on the other side of that field goal. So I do think there's a little bit of value here on the Panthers, but nothing that I feel really strongly about. So I'm going to be avoiding this game. Next game, we can talk about the Washington Redskins taking on the Atlanta Falcons. The Redskins are 0-3 against the spread, 2-1 to the over. They lost their last game 43-21 to the Buffalo Bills. The Atlanta Falcons are 1-2 against the spread, 1-2 to the over. Winners of their last game 17-14 against the New York Giants on a late field goal here. When I run my numbers on this game, I'm not far off from what the books have here. I think this game should be a pick 'em. The way I look at this is I think the Washington Redskins are a little bit better than the New York Giants. And that last game between the Atlanta Falcons and the New York Giants was basically decided by a last-second field goal. That game could have obviously went either way, one play here or one play there. And I feel like this is kind of the exact same game here. I feel like that's exactly how this is going to go. If we were able to get the Redskins at like plus money with me thinking this is a pick 'em, maybe I'd be interested in it. But with the juice coming out, look at the money line here, guys. -105 on one side, -115 on the other side. You know, like I said, it's basically a pick 'em. They have the Falcons slightly favored here. I would have the game as even, or, you know, maybe even the Redskins slightly favored. But overall, there's not a lot of value to talk about in this game. I think the number is pretty good. I think the number is where it should be. The next game we're going to talk about, the Tennessee Titans against the New York Jets. The Titans are 2-1 against the spread, 1-2 to the over, coming off a 25-16 win against the Indianapolis Colts. The Jets 0-3 against the spread, 0-3 to the over, coming off a 26-0 loss to the Denver Broncos, where they looked absolutely dreadful right now. My number on this game is Tennessee -8.5. So a couple of things that I want to talk about here. Would I play this game straight up? Yeah, I think I probably would lay the 7.5. The Jets are right now. I'm going to do tomorrow. Usually Tuesday is when I update my power rankings. As a Jets fan, this pains me to say, but, you know, as a Jets fan, I can tell you guys that I'm absolutely right when I say it. The Jets are the worst team in the NFL right now. So any team that's playing against them, if they were a touchdown favorite, I don't think it's crazy. Like I said, the Jets have had some big numbers anyway, and they're still 0-3 against the spread. So I have no problem laying the -7 with the Titans. What I will say right now is, you know, the Titans are one of the biggest lock teaser pieces that you could possibly use. And that's the way that I'm going to be using them. I'm going to be teasing the Titans with everybody this week. You can tease this down right now, currently at -7.5. You can tease this down to -1.5. You get through the 7, you get through the 3, and you really just need the Titans to win by 2 points, which I think is an absolute lock because the Jets cannot score. They haven't had a touchdown since the first week of the season. They're inefficient on offense. They can't run. They can't pass. They're not a very good defensive team. There is literally no way that I think the Jets can win this game. And I actually think I even have tickets to this game to be there this weekend. So I'm going to be there, watch the Titans bludgeon the Jets, and watch myself cash all of my teasers. Tennessee Titans, bullish bet on the Tennessee Titans this week. Lay the 7.5 and make sure that they're part of every single teaser piece that you put together this week, because Titans tease down to -1.5 is one of my favorite things to do. So the next game we're going to talk about, the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Chiefs 0-3 against the spread, 2-1 to the over, coming off a loss to the Los Angeles Chargers 30-24. The Philadelphia Eagles are 1-1, 0-2 to the over. They play Monday Night Football tonight against the Dallas Cowboys. When I run my numbers on this game, I get Kansas City minus 7.5. If I ran this game last week, it probably would have been closer to Kansas City 9.5, as I've actually adjusted Kansas City down, which I think you have to do. I know that the losses that they had, it's not like they're losing to crappy teams. They're losing to teams that are, middle of the road to the top half of the league, but it's still something that you have to adjust for. This team, again, they're 0-3 against the spread, which means that we've probably been looking at them as being, giving them too much credit for what they are. A lot of people are going to say, oh, well, you should drop them all the way down in your power. You're still not going to drop them down. If you have to play the Kansas City Chiefs, you're still expecting to lose that game. And if you're still expecting to lose that game as a bettor, we should still be expecting the teams that are playing against them to lose that game as well. I know they started 1-2, and you know what? Sometimes that, your record is a little bit variable. It doesn't mean the Chiefs are a bad team. Now, are they as good a team as a lot of people thought they were? No, definitely not, which is why we adjusted the number down. But I think the books made a little bit too big of an adjustment here. Like I said, my number on this game would be the Kansas City Chiefs minus 7.5. Now, remember, we do have to see what happens with the Eagles tonight. We never know if there's going to be any injuries. Maybe they come out looking like absolute world beaters, and the 5.5 plus 5.5 on them makes sense. But for now, I think it's a bullish bet to get onto the Kansas City side. If you can lay less than a touchdown, and right now you're even laying less than 6, so I like that. Kansas City is very good. Philly probably isn't. The Chiefs have lost to good teams this year, teams that are much better than the Eagles. I do not expect the Eagles to make the Chiefs a 1-3 team on the season. I think that not only do the Chiefs come out on fire here and get the win, but I also think they get the cover. Bullish bet, Kansas City Chiefs minus 5.5. You can take it on either site right now. They're both at even money. The next game that we're going to talk about, the Cleveland Browns taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Cleveland 2-1 against the spread, 2-1 to the over, coming off a win against the Chicago Bears 26-6, where they absolutely shut down that Bears offense, sacked the quarterback a whole bunch of times. I don't even remember what the final number was. I think it was 5 or 6. It might have even been more than that by the end of the game. On the other side of this game, Minnesota 2-1 against the spread, 2-1 to the over, coming off a 30-17 win against Seattle, which was a pretty good win for them. When I run my numbers on this game, I get exactly what the books get. I get Cleveland -1, which puts me right on market here. I mean, maybe if it gets up to 1.5 and you want to tease the Vikings up to 7.5, a home team that you could tease up through the 3, through the 7 to get to 7.5 would be something interesting. But as long as this stays at +1 right here, I'm not going to tease something up just to get it to the 7. Like I said, I do think the Browns should be favored here. I have the Browns favored by 1 point, exactly the same as BetMGM does. DraftKings even has that a little bit juiced up, which is why I said there's a chance this could go to -1.5. And if it does, that would put the Vikings in play as a teaser piece, because they would be a home team that we could tease through the 3 and the 7, the most profitable type of teaser piece you can have. Next game, we're going to talk about the New York Giants taking on the New Orleans Saints. The Giants are 1-2 against the spread, 1-2 to the over, coming off a 17-14 loss to the Atlanta Falcons. New Orleans 2-1 against the spread, 0-3 to the over, coming off a win against New England, 28-13. When I run my numbers on this game, I get the Saints -7. So when we're talking about playing this game straight up, I'm probably just going to leave it on the sidelines. I'm not going to lay the 7.5 and give up the hook there. The Giants, like I said, the Giants aren't a very good team, but the Saints are not a team that's been playing games to the over, so they're not playing very high-scoring games. They definitely don't give up a lot of points. The defense is pretty good, but they're also not scoring enough for me to want to lay a 7 with them. What I will say, though, is this is another amazing teaser piece. You have a home team at 7.5. You can tease them down to 1.5. You get through the 7. You get through the 3. Like I said, home team teasers that you can get through the 3 and the 7, most profitable teaser legs you can have. So you look at like that Tennessee game, you can tease that Tennessee game down to 1.5 because we all think that's a lock against the New York Jets. And then you can tease something like the Saints here down to 1.5 as well. Actually, one of the bets that I already put in the bet tracker and the bet package over at FTN Bets. If you guys want, you can get over to FTN Bets and check out all of the teaser pieces, all of the bets that I put in, as well as all of the other analysts that we have here at the company. Everybody will enter their stuff throughout the week, so you guys will have a ton of things to look at, ton of things to bet on. And for me, one of my favorite bets of the week, teasing Tennessee down to 1.5 and linking them with these Saints down to 1.5 as well. So when it comes to the 7.5, I'm probably going to avoid that, but I am very bullish on the Saints as a teaser piece here, one that I think a lot of people should be using. Tease them down to 1.5. They're at home. They're playing the Giants. You get through the 3 and the 7. I like that a lot. The next game we can talk about here, the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Miami Dolphins. Indianapolis is 1-2 against the spread, 1-2 to the over, and they're coming off a loss 25-16 to the Tennessee Titans. The Miami Dolphins, 2-1 against the spread, 1-2 to the over. They're coming off an overtime loss to the Las Vegas Raiders, although they did end up covering because I think that one closed at 4 or 4.5, and they wound up losing in overtime, 31-28. Nothing to be too ashamed about there. When I run my numbers on this game, I get the Miami Dolphins should be favored by about 1 point. So, again, these are -1.5, -1.5, not too far off of it. I'm pretty much on market here. I don't have any bets on this game. I think the spread is pretty good. I think the numbers that the books are offering are good. And like I said, I'm at -1, so I'm right there as well. The Colts are banged up. They're missing a couple pieces. The Dolphins are banged up. Tua, their starting quarterback, is out. We're probably going to see more Jacoby Brissett. We'll have to see how that works out this week and, wait till we get some information. This is just not a game I really feel like betting on. It's too below, average to below average teams, and it's just really not that interesting. Next game we can talk about, the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Los Angeles Rams. This should be a pretty good one. Arizona 2-1 against the spread, 1-2 to the over, coming off a 31-19 win against a pretty weak Jacksonville Jaguars team. The Los Angeles Rams 2-1 against the spread, 3-0 to the over, which is surprising for a very good defensive team there. They are coming off a 34-24 win against the defending champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They looked very, very good in that game. When I run my numbers on this game, I have the Rams favored by 5.5. So a little bit below the -6 that the books are offering right now. As you can see over on DraftKings, that -6 is -115. So this number may even go up to like 6.5. I still wouldn't bet it even if it goes up to 6.5. I don't want to be on the Cardinals side of this game. I would rather be on the Rams side of this game, but I just think it's too many points to bet on the Rams here. So I have no bet on this game, but I will say this. I think this is the first 4 o'clock game, if I'm not mistaken. And there's only like 3 4 o'clock games on next Sunday. This is definitely a game I want to watch, even though I'm not going to have any money on it. Next up, we can talk about the Baltimore Ravens going against the Denver Broncos. Baltimore 1-2 against the spread, 2-1 to the over, coming off a 19-17 win against the Detroit Lions on a last-second drive and a 66-yard field goal by Justin Tucker that bounced off the crossbar and went in order to save the teaser pieces for us there. So we thank Justin Tucker for that. The Denver Broncos are 3-0, 0-3 to the over. They've been playing to the under with that good defense that they have in the running game, and their games have been low scoring. They're coming off a 26-0 win against the New York Jets. I got to be honest, I'm not really sure what, if anything, we learned about the Denver Broncos coming off a 26-0 win to the Jets, because the Jets are an absolutely horrible football team. So, take that with a grain of salt. When I run my numbers on this game, I actually think Baltimore should be favored in this game. I have Baltimore -1, which means in my eyes, the wrong team is favored here. So you look at the Ravens, you don't want to take the +1.5. That's not a number that really interests me. But if I think the Ravens should be favored and I can get plus money on them right now, again, I don't think this game's a coin flip. I don't think it's a pick 'em. I think the Ravens are the better team here. I think I have the Ravens winning like 53% of the time versus 47% of the time for the Broncos. So if I can have a team that's going to win 53% of the time and I can get +105 on that, that is a bet that I'm going to be very, very bullish on. So I like having a slight edge in this game here. I like the fact that that slight edge is also going to be at plus money. So bullish bet on the money line here for the Baltimore Ravens. You can take it at +105 on either one of these sites. Next game, we're going to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling up to New England to take on the Patriots. Tampa Bay 1-2 against the spread, 3-0 to the over. They have been playing some high-scoring games. They're coming off a loss to the Los Angeles Rams, 34-24. The Rams beat them on Sunday. New England 1-2 against the spread, 0-3 to the over. They've been playing a lot of games to the under with that good defense and the bad offense. They are coming off a loss to the New Orleans Saints, 28-13. When I run my numbers on this game, I get Tampa Bay should be favored by 6 points. So I'm pretty much on market here. I would rather lay the -5.5 with Tampa Bay if I had to make a bet on this game than take a +5.5 with the Patriots. But really, I don't have a bet on this game. So I'm looking at this as I'm pretty much on market at -6 with the spread being -5.5. I don't even want to mention what everybody else is talking about this game this week. So we're just going to move on and go to, go to the Monday Night Football game. This will be the Sunday Night Football game. And I apologize in advance for how many TV commercials about it you guys are going to see over the next 6 days. So the Monday Night Football game, the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Raiders 2-1 against the spread, 2-1 to the over, coming off a 31-28 win against Miami in overtime. Let's see. The Raiders are actually 3-0 on the season. They have wins against the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Dolphins, which are all pretty good, average to well above average teams there. So this Raiders team is better than people are giving them credit for. Now, with that being said, they're taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are 2-1 against the spread, 0-3 to the over. Their defense has been very good. Their offense has looked good. They just haven't put up as many points as we thought they were going to. They're coming off a win 30-24 against the Kansas City Chiefs, which was actually a game that went slightly under what the expectation was there. Again, why the Chargers are 0-3 to the over here on the season. When I run my numbers on this game, I actually think this is pretty interesting. When I run my numbers on this game, I get Las Vegas should be favored by about 1 point. So I get Raiders -1. Right now, you can get the Raiders at +3.5. You can get them at +3 on MGM at even money, or +3.5 at -115 on DraftKings. I would rather take the hook. I like having that hook on my side. I don't really have, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't have the balls to take the Raiders on the money line at +155, although that's what my numbers are telling me that's where the value is. I prefer having the protection of that 3.5. That's going to be the way I play this game. I'm going to take the 3.5 at DraftKings Sportsbook. This way, on a field goal, I win. I get the extra hook on top of the field goal. I like that right there. Again, my numbers say I should be making a bet on the money line here with the Raiders being -1. I just don't want to do that, though. So I'm going to go Raiders +3.5. I do think the value is on the Raiders side. Again, from my number to that 3.5 spread, we got 4.5 points of value, including crossing the zero to make the Raiders the favorite in my number, and also being able to get the field goal on our side with the +3 and the hook on top of it. So if this game ends in a field goal, you're going to wind up walking away with the win. So the way I'm going to play this game is going to be Raiders +3.5. That is where I think the best value is on that DraftKings side. And that wraps it up for the games we're going to look at here for week 14. I did not look at the games that involved the teams that played on Sunday night because I did not have a spread for them last night and early this morning when I'm filming this video. So there are 2 games that I think, or at least 1 game, if not 2, that we didn't talk about here. If you guys are interested in that information, as always, you guys can get over to FTN Bets. All of my information will be up there. I'll be in the Discord all week long. So we'll talk about those games, a little later in the week once we have some numbers for them, kind of see where everything falls there. And I'll give you guys my thoughts on those over in Discord. Remember, we are running the Las Vegas giveaway over at FTN Bets and Bets TV right now. Basically, all you have to do, go down to the bottom of this YouTube video. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe to the channel. Leave us a comment. Tell us what teams you guys are on and what teams you like. And then get over to FTN Bets. You could register for a free account. You register for a free account, you get 1 ticket into the drawing for the trip to Las Vegas. You're going to get a hotel room. You're going to get to go see the Las Vegas Raiders take on the Washington football, well, not the Redskins anymore, the Washington football team, courtesy of FTN Bets and Bets TV. The seats are very good. The stadium is absolutely amazing. I can't wait to get out there and check it out myself in person. Whoever wins this will probably be able to get there before I do. So definitely drop me a message in chat or on Twitter and let me know how you like it, because I'm going to be needing some restaurant and some things to look at for the future when I get out there myself. If you are watching this or listening to this on iTunes right now, same thing. Leave us a 5-star review. Go down into the comments. Tell us who you like. Say something about the podcast, something nice, preferably. That would really help us out there. And then get over to FTN Bets and make sure you sign up for the free account. If you want a better chance to win a trip to Las Vegas, anybody who signs up for a free account gets 1 ticket. Anybody who actually signs up for one of the packages that we have will get tickets based on which package you want. I think it's 10 tickets if you sign up for any package, and then you get more depending on which package you sign up for. I'm even going to offer you guys a discount right now. If you put in promo code Benny at checkout, you can save 10% off any package that you want. And that includes FTN Bets, FTN Daily, and FTN Fantasy, whichever angle you guys are looking to exploit in your your gambling and your betting and your Sunday play, whatever you're looking to do, we got you covered over at FTN. So there you go. That wraps it up for the Week 4 NFL First Look at the Lines. This is Benny Ricciardi signing off for FTN Bets and Bets TV.